Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be learning how to multiply two-digit numbers. And we're going to be using three strategies we've learned before, so this is a review. But before we get started, I want to ask you a question. Do you remember those three strategies? And if you do, pause the video and write them down in your notebook. And if you don't worry, because we're going to go over them right now. So the first strategy we're going to use is called the area model, using two-digit numbers. So here we have a number that's a two-digit, which means that I have two numbers or two digits within the number. So for example, 21. The 2 is in the tens place and the 1 is in the ones place. We're multiplying this two-digit number, 21, by this two-digit number, 19. So in order to multiply using the area model, I always tell you guys to remember that it looks kind of like a window. So we're going to draw our area model here. Okay, we're going to make 4 squares. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to break them apart into tens and the ones place. So the 21 here, I'm going to make this 2 is in the tens place, so I'm going to make it a 20. And I'm going to write it right here. Plus the 1 in the ones place, I'm going to write it right below. Because 20 plus 1 gives me 21. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 19. The 19, this 1 is going to become a 10. I'm going to write it right here above. And the 9, which is in the ones place, I'm going to write it right over here. Now I could have done it either way. I could have done 19 here and 21 over here. It doesn't matter. Now, a lot of you have been getting confused on where the numbers go when you are looking for the product. So now I'm going to use colors to help you know where each one falls into, what category. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blue marker and I'm going to focus on the 20. Now, I want to multiply this 20 by all the numbers up on the top, okay? So I'm going to multiply 20 times 10 and I'm going to get my answer and I'm going to put it right here. So blue, blue, and blue, okay? So, and if 20 times 10 is hard for you to multiply, I want you to think about it in parts. Now, I'm going to say, what is 2 times 1? We know that 2 times 1 is 2. So we're going to write 2 in here. And then we're going to add the 2 zeros. Okay? Now, I want to keep multiplying this 20. Okay? So I'm going to focus on this 20 still, and I'm going to multiply it by the 9 up here. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that with my blue. 20 times 9 is going to give me this number. So it directly goes on the bottom square. 2 times 9 is 18. So I'm going to write 18. And then I add that 0 to the 18. 180. Now that I am done multiplying the 20 by the 10 and the 9, I'm going to cross it off because I no longer need it. And now I'm going to focus on the 1. Now I'm going to use a different color so you can, so it could be a visual for you. So 1 times this 10, remember we always want to multiply the top numbers, will give me this number directly below. So you see, I'm directly putting it below. So 1 times 10 equals 10, and then 1, again, times the 9 gives me 9. And I'm going to put that in green too, so we know we already did all the parts together. Now after that, on our last column, we want to add the numbers. Now, in order to know that we've used up all the numbers, I like to cross them off. So why don't we cross off I'm going to use the color code so you know. So this 200, I'm going to put it here. And we have to be careful and make sure that we align all of our numbers, because if we don't, we're going to add it incorrectly. All right, so we have 200, we have 180. You see I'm crossing them off, so I know I already used it. And then I'm going to use the 10 here, and I'm placing it right under the ones place, my 0, and the 1 right under my tens place. Then I'm going to add the 9. And then I'm going to add up all of those numbers. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 9 gives me 9. 8 plus 1 gives me also 9. And then 2 plus 1 equals 3. So my answer is 399. Now, I want you to pause this video and I want you to do the same thing I've done with the area model. I want you to practice that strategy using Seesaw. Now I'm going to give you this problem, and make sure to use your 3-column notes so that we can stay organized and your work could be it could be organized and easy to read. So I'm going to give you this problem. 24 times 13. And I want you to stop this video and practice it on your own. Now I'm going to continue with the next strategy, which is grouping numbers. Okay, so problem. Remember, we want to use the columns to stay organized and it's easy to read when we have to go back and study it. So my next problem would be 18 times 40. Now with this strategy, what we want to do is we want to break apart the number 18 because we want to get as much zeros as possible because that's the easiest way to multiply. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and break this apart. So the 18 is going to now become, okay, we're going to break it into the tens place and to the ones place. So we're going to do, sorry, 10 plus 8. This equals that 18, okay? Now, I'm going to use my multiplication sign. Bring this down, okay? And I'm going to multiply all of that by the 40, okay? Now, I'm going to bring this overall to the other side so it could be easy to read. So I'm going to put here 10 plus 8, because remember we got this from the 18. We broke it apart from tens and the ones place. So 10 plus 8 times 40. Now we want to use a distributive property to solve this problem. Now we want to, I'm going to use arrows so to help you visualize it. So 10 times 40, and then we want to do 8 times 40. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 10 times the 40, okay, plus now the 8, right, times the 40. Okay. Oops, from parentheses. All right. So now we can go ahead and multiply this. So if it's hard for you to know what 10 times 40 is, remember, break it apart. So we could do 4 times 1, right? 4 times 1, which equals 4, and then I add the other zeros. Plus, right, 8 times 4, which is 32, and then I add this 0. Now I am ready to add those numbers. I'm going to go ahead and do it on this column. 400, and make sure the same thing as the area model, how I taught you. It needs to, your numbers have to line up. So 400 plus 320. So the ones are with the ones in the ones place. The tens and the hundreds are all lined up. Okay? And so we're going to do 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 equals 2, and 4 plus 3 equals 7. So our answer is 720. That is the second way, second strategy to use grouping, right, to multiply two-digit numbers. Now, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and work on Seesaw to solve this next problem. 12 times 30. Remember to use a 3-column note so you can keep your work organized and neat, right? And make sure you submit your work so that I am able to review it and correct it. Okay? So now I'm going to move on to the next strategy. The last strategy I am going to use is the standard algorithm. 72 times 65. Okay? So the first thing I want to do here is I want to focus on my ones place. Okay? So in my ones place we have the 2 and the 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do with my blue marker. I'm going to circle those two because those are the ones I want to focus on only for right now. Okay? So 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to regroup. So I'm going to carry the 1 and add the 0 here. Now, I'm going to now multiply, use my blue marker. We want to focus on this 5, this tens place in the 65. 5 times 7, and we cannot forget about the number we just regrouped, okay? So we want to do 7 times 5 is 35, plus the 1, 36. So we're going to go ahead and write that, 36. Okay? Now, we're already done with the 5. We're going to go ahead and cross it off. We're done. So I'm just going to jump over here to the next column so it won't be all, it's going to get too messy if I do all these colors on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the problem. Exact same problem, 72, and I'm going to write my answer here. I got 360. And I don't want to put the regrouping number here because it'll just get all confusing. We're done with that one. So we're going to move on. Now, when we are multiplying two-digit by two-digit numbers, once we're done with the 5, we're done multiplying that one, we want to add a 0 here as a placeholder, okay, because we're moving on to the tens place. Now, so we're going to now move on to tens place, so 6, we're going to multiply now the 6 by the 2. 6 times 2 equals 12. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to regroup. Okay. Now I'm done with that. So I'm going to multiply 7 times the 6. 7 times 6 is 42 plus, we can't forget here, the 1. 42 plus 1 is 43. Okay? Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move this whole problem all over here so it won't be confusing and it'll organize our work. 72 times 65. We have 360 and then we have 4,320. And make sure that we align all the numbers. The 0 goes in the ones place, 2 goes in the tens place, the 3 goes in the hundreds place, and the 4 goes in the thousands place. We're going to go ahead and add all that up. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 2 is 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. And then we bring down the 4 because there's an imaginary 0 here. 0 plus 4 is 4. And that is how you get 4,680 as your answer. Now, you're going to go ahead and do this on Seesaw too. I'm going to give you a problem. So your problem that you're going to work on is 47 times 29. I want you to practice that on Seesaw, and I want you to turn in your work to me so that I can correct it and revise it, and then we're good to go. So those are the 3 ways that we can multiply two-digit numbers. The first one is area model. The second one is grouping by using parentheses, and the third one is the standard algorithm. I hope you guys learned a lot, and remember to rewind and pause anytime that you need to go back to the video so that you can follow the strategies that you've just learned. Thank you, boys and girls.